Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing Tea Street. I'm really excited to delve into this topic today. This topic is about distractions. How can we use distractions for our good and not for our destruction? How can we use distractions for our good and not for our destruction? On Monday, I had the opportunity to talk to my students about this notion of what are the things that keep us from reaching our destinations? When we set objectives and goals, I asked them, how many of you are on target to reach the goal that you set for yourself when you first got to high school? I asked them what were some of the goals that they set for themselves when they first got to high school. And then I asked them, were they on target for meeting those objectives and those goals? And quite a few of them said that they were not on target. And so I started to ask them, what was it that kept them from being on target? And the number one thing that the students named were distractions. They were distracted. Now, the distractions vary depending on the young person. Some of them were distracted by dating. Some of them were distracted by video games. Some of them were distracted because their ADHD minds just could not focus at the appropriate times. Some of them were distracted. They said they scroll way too much. Some of them are distracted because they're trying to become content creators and it's taking them off the path of getting out of high school. And so we started to talk about how can we use distractions for our good. I first started looking at this notion of how do you use distractions for your good when I was going through therapy for grief, because um, I was so distracted by my grief that I couldn't get focused on the things that I needed to do for everyday life. And so I was working through some things with my therapist, and my therapist gave me this concept. She said, you should plan out your distractions. I'm like, what do you mean plan them out? She was like, you know that you're distracted. Give yourself meaningful distractions, things that will produce something for you in the end, so that even if you are distracted, something good can come out of your distraction. I was like, tell me more. So she was like, what are some things that need to get done? Maybe every day, T, you give yourself permission to be distracted for a period of time. You got to understand this. This is time sensitive. You don't give yourself all day. She said, for example, you cannot Netflix all day. That's not a healthy, productive distraction. You can give yourself an hour of TV or 2 hours of TV on a Saturday when you have some time, but don't let that become the thing, because eventually, if that becomes your habit, it will become destructive. So your distractions can be destructive or they can be productive. And so some of the things that I started to do was assigning myself distractions that I needed to do anyway, like my spring cleaning, my fall cleaning, putting away my summer clothes, the things that would produce something at the end. I use them to distract me from grief. But I also, when my mind is overwhelmed, when I'm writing, I do a lot of writing. I write grants, I write journal. I'm working on a curriculum. I'm working on a book. And sometimes my mind gets overwhelmed and I need healthy distractions. And so one of the things that I do is I give myself permission to be distracted on purpose. I give myself a time limit, and then I tell myself some of the things that I can do. And sometimes it's enjoyable. Sometimes I'll say, I haven't seen the latest episode of blank, and that's going to be my distraction, but I schedule it in. I schedule it. So I know that my mind can focus if I know that at 2 o'clock p.m., I'm going to watch the game on Saturday. I will work like crazy up until 2 o'clock. And guess what? I give myself total permission to chill until that game is over. And then I can go back to writing because I freed up my mind without having to feel guilty about it. Distraction shouldn't make us feel guilty. But what you want to do is be purposeful in your distractions. Use distraction as a reprieve and not as a retreat. It gives you a break from it, but it doesn't cause you to retreat from life. Because when it does that, then you've got some other issues. That's not a distraction. That's something else that's leading you on the path of depression. So I just wanted to encourage people today that distractions aren't all bad if we use them for purpose, if we are planful in creating our distractions, and if we use it as a reprieve and not as a retreat. I'm the amazing T Street, but you know what? There's nothing amazing in me that's not in each and every one of you. I hope that you're gaining skills and things and that you're sharing it with other people as you learn about you and you get some skills. When I learn new things, like I learned the concept of how to use um, how do you use distractions for purpose from my therapist. So I thought I'd share it with all of you. And I hope if you're gaining things from Coffee with Tea, that you'll share those concepts with other people. I'm the amazing T Street, but you know what? There's absolutely positively nothing amazing in me that's not in each and every one of you. So today, plan your distractions and see if it doesn't help. Have an amazing day.